Extroverted intuition. How do I extract originality from my own rigidity? So the psychometric role models I use as training wheels when I'm put in situations where the function that would really be required to be excellent in this is extroverted intuition are people like Willy Wonka, Al Yankovic, and Donald Rumsfeld. Willy Wonka embraced contradiction. He said, I make it a practice to believe as many as a dozen impossible things before breakfast. So continuing to challenge your brain with impossibilities and puzzles and to be intentionally lateral thinking all the time. You're never quite sure who he is. You're fine with the contradiction of, when people look at me, do they see the Wizard of Oz or do they see a serial killer? Which one? I don't know. But you live with that mystery. You live with that contradiction. In a world where dishes are candy and candy is a weapon, everything's nature can be questioned. Everything's nature can be reconceptualized, and in some cases altered. It is only the rigidity of your brain that makes those things impossible to think about. Continue to challenge the parts of your brain that are definitely certain about how things are and how they're supposed to be. I am never going to question whether or not God exists. I'm never going to challenge whether or not I exist or whether I am saved. But virtually everything else in this universe is designed to be challenged and reconceptualized. Al Yankovic is an amazing artist who does homage without theft. Style parody requires such an unbelievable sensitivity to getting this close to theft, this close, and making a song that clearly was meant to sound like, yet is not the same. It's a brilliant way to be an artist. He's created a niche for himself that no one else could possibly occupy. You think about somebody that creative and that different, and you're forced to have people that are so unique. I mean, who is the Al Yankovic of a previous? Also, he's being serious in his attempts to make you laugh. He's not a joke. He's not a clown. He's a serious comedic artist. Donald Rumsfeld made an amazing statement when interviewed once, and it was such advanced NT logic that half the censors thought he was obfuscating and saying something nonsense. I knew what he was saying was high-level logic. And he said, you know what? There are known knowns, there are known unknowns, there are unknown knowns, and unknown unknowns. Depending on your own brain, you hear obfuscation or you hear advanced intuition. I heard advanced intuition. Those are all real concepts that are worth discussing in my head. So for me, I try, when analyzing a situation abstractly, to try and perceive it from as many angles as possible and not to immediately reduce it to black and white parts. I learned from Jordan Peterson, I believe it's Jordan Peterson, that there's two ways of discussing truth: mythic and propagandic truth. Propagandic truth is if it can be said in black and white in one sentence. Mythic is it has layers and subtlety and is harder to explain than that. And I think that even if you discuss the Word of God, you can take your favorite verse that you read 20 years ago and it means something different now. Why is that? Because of the mythic nature of truth. Follow what I'm saying. If you were to say, I understand what John 3:16 means, the day you're saved, well, it means I was a sinner and now I'm saved by grace. The things you were saved from, as you begin to see what you were from a distance, as you begin changing, become part of your understanding of that verse. And more so, the things that God has given you greater than just now I'm saved from sin are part of that definition as well. your understanding deepening in layers is by the nature of mythic truth. But it's something that cannot be understood without an ability to see truth in multidimensional ways. The truth of God is always true and should not be bent, should not be distorted. But our understanding of it is limited by this box right here. This box right here is an understanding limiting machine. And only the transformation of it by the Word of God, by the Spirit of God, alters its limitations. So when I am trying to think as abstractly as possible, when I'm trying to apply extroverted intuition to analyzing a situation, I use as psychometric role models, as training wheels, Willy Wonka, Al Yankovic, and Donald Rumsfeld.